Hello, my name is Daniel Rock, and I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to help you write a unit plan. ChatGPT, of course, is an AI. There's a free version, which I'm using, and there's a pro version, which is $20 a month. But we're going to use the free version here. To use it, you need to create a login. You will have to use your email and phone number and verify both. They want to make sure that you are a real person. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to be an 8th grade ELA teacher, and I am about to teach a unit on the book Night. And I need some ideas on how to teach this unit and teach the standards that I want to teach. My goal is to really be focused on standards-based instruction. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, for the standards below, I'm going to copy them in here in a second, pull out and place into a chart the essential vocabulary, skills, and big ideas students will need to show mastery of the standards. Now, one thing, I'm going to add something. I'm going to tell it the context in which it's doing this, because you have to imagine it's an assistant, and you're talking to your assistant, asking it to do something for you. So the more information it knows about the context, the better it will be, the better assistant it will be. So I'm going to say, as a teacher planning a unit for the novel Night, because that's our context. And I'm going to say, planning a unit for the novel Night and teaching the standards below. Pull out and place. So there we go. So I'm going to type that in here, and I'm going to, oh, it tells me I didn't put the standards in. Thank you. See, it's an assistant, and I didn't give it enough information, so my assistant asked me for more information. So here's the standards. Now it's going to say, I can do that for you. Standard, we've got the vocabulary. Now, I think it's only giving me those couple words because I did not include, because I said essential. So I'm going to say, revise this chart and include all of the vocabulary from the standards students will need. Again, you just have to imagine you're having a conversation with your teaching assistant. Much better. Much better. Okay? So now I've got those things, and I can look it over, and I'm gonna, eventually I'm gonna take this chart and I'm going to copy it into a Word document, right? But I'm not quite done yet, so I'm not gonna do that yet. So I have that, and now I'm gonna ask it to create some learning intentions and success criteria. Now, I'm a teacher who's been reading John Hattie, and he says how important it is from the meta research to include for students clear learning definitions and success criteria. So as a teacher, remember, this is my assistant, so I'm saying I want you to think about, and it's going to search John Hattie's definition of learning intentions and success criteria. Write learning intentions and success criteria for a unit that will teach these standards through the book Night by Ellie Y. Zell. All right, let's see how it does. So it's got the standard. Great. So it's essentially taking the standard and making that, or here's making that the learning intention. Okay, not too bad. I'm going to say maybe revise the learning intentions to be more student friendly. Too bad. That's the learning intentions. To understand the themes of resilience and human spirit memory. Throughout the unit, students will develop their understanding word meaning to deepen their understanding of the text. And then here's the things the students will be able to do. So these are those I can statements for the unit. Excellent. Okay, now let's say I want it, now I can tell it to add these learning intentions and success criteria to the table to show alignment of each element of the unit plan. Okay, so now it's going to remake my table. And I've got the standard, I've got the vocabulary. That's not a great. Oh, I see, it's combined. These students will explore memoir to understand the themes of resilience. So it put some of these into separate boxes, but we can merge those pretty easily. Okay, so you see it's not quite perfect because you need to, you'll have to combine these and fix that a little bit. But it's basically showing those combinations, those different key concepts of your unit. Okay, so there we have an aligned unit plan. So we would have to um, the table a little bit to make sure to turn that all into one sentence and to combine that. But otherwise, it's okay. Excellent. So now I want to include a performance task. So I'm starting with my end in mind, and I want something that's going to demonstrate and put all of these integrated standards together for this unit, because I always start with my assessment. What is the end thing that's going to show me that students can do all these things? So here's my prompt. As a teacher, right, I'm talking to my assistant, create a performance task students could complete that would show mastery of these standards using the text Night by Ellie Wiesel. So it's going to, in the performance tasks, students will demonstrate mastery Night, and then it's giving me some first students will conduct research on the historical context of the Holocaust. Okay. Students will identify and analyze the theme of resilience portrayed in Night. They will gather textual evidence. All right. And then there's a presentation delivery. Interesting. Multimedia presentation. And then there's an assessment criteria. Okay, that's interesting. Let me try something else. That was that's a lot of different things. What if I just want some prompts, some writing prompts, right? So I could say generate 5 alternative prompts I could use in this assignment, just a writing prompt, and I'm going to say make them so students will write an essay but also use creativity and be engaging for a middle schooler. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Resilience, unimaginable horrors. Write an opinion essay expressing your viewpoint of the following statement. Equality. Okay. These aren't too bad. ELA Wisely uses vivid imagery and powerful language throughout Night to convey his experiences and emotions. Write an expository essay analyzing the author's use of imagery and language to create a profound impact on the reader. This one is interesting. Write an opinion essay expressing your viewpoint on the following statement. Resilience is an innate human quality that can be found in individuals even in the most challenging circumstances. Support your opinion with evidence from the memoir and real life examples. So I didn't say for it to be tightly aligned to the standard, but I think it did it anyway. In Night, Eliot describes the loss of faith and the struggle to maintain belief in a higher power. Whether adversity strengthens, weakens one, supports person with evidence from the memoir, examples from history or literature, and your own reflections. These are powerful prompts. So let's say I kind of like the second prompt. So now I'm ready to start some instruction. So that's my end goal. So now I'm going to start. And so I'm going to say, write, I'm going to say 10. Thought-provoking questions a teacher could pose to a class to build their curiosity around this topic. Make them re- relatable to middle school students. So I want some questions that I can start a discussion with. So what would you do if you were faced with a similar situation? Examples in history where individuals or communities have shown resilience. So let me try this again. Create some thought-provoking questions to ask students before they read the novel that will help them to start thinking about the big ideas of the book and about the book of the book. I would say the standards, but really we're not going to have thought-provoking questions about these standards. So let's try this again. So I want some thought. What does it mean to be resilient in the face of adversity? Can you think of any real life examples of resilience? How does memory shape our understanding of the past? What role does literature play in preserving and conveying history? How do individuals maintain their sense of hope and humanity? Okay, these are all okay. I'm going to say make these questions simpler and to the point. Make them more relatable to a teenager. And to see it again, this is my assistant. He works for me, right? He works for me. So it will do what I tell it. How do people hold on to, how can words and stories impact the way we understand the world? Why is it important to listen to and learn from the experiences of others? What can we learn about being human from stories and struggles? Okay, these aren't too bad. Now, let me say, I'm going to do one more time. Revise these questions so that they engage in more controverse, I don't know how to spell it, controversial ideas. Because kids love controversy. Can resilience ever have a limit? Or it might be more reasonable to give up? How does memory influence? Are there instances where memory can be unreliable or manipulated to fit certain narratives? How does society determine which historical events deserve collective remembrance and which are forgotten? Can words and stories ever be dangerous or harmful? Now we're talking my language. Can stories of struggle and survivor unintentionally romanticize or glorify suffering? Oh, yes. These are some great questions. So notice how I used AI to revise and generate ideas. Let's do one more. And I'm going to say, create an anticipation guide that will help that will build students' curiosity and interest in the big ideas and concepts listed in these questions. They will complete this before they begin reading the book. Sometimes it needs some time to think, and that's okay. Every once in a while, it will get stuck and it'll fail and it'll say, unable to generate. So we've got some instructions here, and then we've got a chart, and then we've got the statement, agree or disagree. These are okay. Don't love these. Don't love these. Um, I'm going to say make these statements a little simpler and easier to understand. Make the statements more controversial. It's all about really trying to get into the controversy here. These are much better for my kiddos. Still might need some explaining, but I could say revise these to be written at a, let's go down, fifth grade level, or so that a 11-year-old would understand them. Hmm. too bad. Okay, so what we have here, if we think about it, is we've identified, just to review, I'm going to scroll up here. First, we identified the key vocabulary, skills, big ideas, learning intentions, and success criteria for the standards that we're going to teach. Then we generated a end of unit task or set of tasks. I looked at this and I said, okay, this is a lot, and maybe I want maybe just a writing product. So I said, just generate some prompts, right, that I could use for an assignment at the end. It generated the prompts, and then I said, okay, good. Let's choose one prompt, and let's see if I can have some thought-provoking questions to get them ready for that prompt. But I really wanted some great questions. That opening question of a unit is so essential. So I said, let me go back and revise those questions a little bit, right? So we kept revising them, make these questions a little simpler and to the point. So it's that conversation with the assistant of telling it what you want it to make. Now, the next thing I might do is I could ask it to create a reading guide or a handout for them to collect evidence as they're reading. I hope this has been helpful in getting you started in your AI journey. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and ask.